Welcome to the family meet. Here we come together with family, friends, whether connected by blood or just relationship, and explore the profound importance of family in our lives. They share some heartfelt stories and their personal experience to cover some lessons and share what steps do they take and do they recommend you take in order to have the fulfilling experience as family members. But at the heart of our conversation is a simple yet powerful truth that we are all a part of the same human family. The more deeply we understand that, the better life will be upon planet Earth. And with that said, I have the rare privilege to be here with my friend and nephew, Jarell McGrew. What's going on, Jarell McGrew?
Hello, hello.
Jarell, I had to apologize because we jumped in this room. I thought it was one time because most of my family is in Chicago, but you was on the other side of the world. It was a completely different time. But nevertheless, that said, I would like for you to just kind of introduce yourself, Jarell. Tell us who you are and what you do.
All right. Name is Jarell McGrew. Right now, got a 9 to 5 basically in like the advertising
Mm-hmm.
space. And then outside of that, I am an aspiring real estate investor. So we'll see how that's going. One
That's interesting.
step at a time.
In your 9 to 5 job, what kind of advertising do you do specifically in terms of what
I
tools?
work for Comcast.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
we are doing we reach out to all like the companies that are looking to advertise on regular TV, so like cable,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Okay. Well, tell me this, Jarell. What inspired you to move in the direction that you're moving in as an aspiring real estate investor?
It was really just wanting to do something, have another stream of income outside of the 9 to 5, just because I've seen how that can go when you only have that as your only option. And it makes more sense to just diversify where your income is coming from and be in control of where that comes from.
That's powerful, man. Now, in terms of how long have you been doing this in that space? How long you been exploring that space?
I've always been curious about home ownership and like how people do this and how they make like a company out of that with a lot of guys own like multiple properties and all sorts of properties, but I've probably done a lot of like research for my own purposes, probably like maybe like 3, 4, 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And in the course of you pursuing that, have you ever maybe had a mentor or someone who's successful in that space kind of provide you with some guidance or direction as to the best route to take in order to minimize your learning curve and maximize your profitability?
Yeah, for now I'm in I always go to like a bunch of like networking events
Mm-hmm.
that they'll have in like your area. So you can at those events there'll be people there that are kind of like in the same shoes that you're in as like a new investor, or someone will be there who has the amount of experience that you hope to get to at some point. And
Mm-hmm.
then at those events you could just ask them questions and be like, hey, how do I do this? What's your experience been with this? And
Mm-hmm.
kind of like bounce ideas off of them. So that's kind of been helpful.
That's a smart move, man. It's good to
Yeah, I
learn.
mean,
Vicarious knowledge is valuable.
yeah, it definitely makes the most sense. But with buying properties itself, like there's so much capital that it takes to do it. It's like if you do it wrong, it can really
Yeah,
hurt. It can
right,
really hurt.
right. Well, with that said, I want to ask you, what have you found to be one of the greatest challenges that you face in pursuing this aspiration that you have?
No, I mean, for me now, it's just the understanding that in order to get where you want to go, you have to get out of like this comfort zone that you're in. Like it's not gonna come from doing what you've been doing. It's not that's not how it works. Like you're gonna have to talk to people you don't want to talk to, do things you
Mm,
don't want to do, and then through doing that, you're gonna get more comfortable doing that. Where once you get that comfort, it's not bothersome to do so.
okay.
That's the interesting part of all this, like going to that events as someone who's not really a
Extrovert.
yeah, extroverted person, just going up to somebody and asking them questions about what they're doing and how they're doing it can be uh interesting how that goes.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, I find that quite fascinating. So I would like you to elaborate in this respect. Tell me, based on you knowing, okay, I'm not an extrovert, but I still need to do this. What tool or method do you use to get yourself off center and put yourself in harm's way, so to speak, by pushing out of your comfort zone? How do you get yourself out there? Because a lot of people aspire, but they aspire from the couch, right?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how do you get yourself out there to go out there and make it happen, man? What
I
you use to
mean,
promote?
you know you have to do it, so that's the first step. Just like acknowledging that you this is something I have to do. And then for me, like I'll bring my wife with me. She's like more of like the outgoing person.
Is that
So I'll
right?
have her come with me. And then she's just striking up all type of conversations with people while I'm talking to somebody else in the other room. And then she name dropping me and telling them I'll be right back to talk to them.
Oh,
So that's it's always helpful to have like a companion with you when you go to these type of events because one, that allows you to talk to more people because now there's two of you. And
right.
then while for me personally, I try to like go to these events and kind of like strike up a conversation with someone just based off like a commonality that I have with them
Mm-hmm.
or anything that kind of like there's usually some type of like icebreaker that they
Mm-hmm.
have at these events where you're like talking to someone about what you do, where you're from, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of properties that you have, things like that will kind of be like the normal
Mm-hmm.
icebreaker, and then it'll just branch off of that. Someone will probably come up to you and ask you a question, or you could just hear what someone else says and then ask
Mm-hmm.
them more about like more knowledge about that.
I think that's brilliant, man. I know your wife is beautiful. I didn't know she was as gregarious as you say she
Oh
is.
no, hey,
It's a beautiful concept when you actually have different skill sets, different personality types, and you put them into a mix where you have a common objective that you're reaching for, and you're using her strengths to help you get through doors so that you. So I see that as working as a symbiotic relationship. She get out there, she drop your name, and next thing you know, your door is open, man. That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant.
I
Hey,
mean,
write that down.
it works. I'm telling like you like when you talk to him, like she's just this person that people respond to her, and I'm just like, how do you get this information from these people so easily? And I'm just like, it's like for me to go to talk to him, this would have took me like hour, like
Well,
at least two.
first of all, I know first thing she because she's so beautiful, she's disarming. So people just see her walk up
Exactly, exactly.
because she's also articulate. Once she starts talking, it's like they captivated. It's over.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, man. I love it. Well, let me ask you this, Drill. Um, what have been some of the greatest discoveries that you have made in your journey in this pursuit of your aspiration?
Uh, just like the type of businesses you can produce and how it works. So usually the biggest step is acquiring the property and
Mm-hmm.
the ways you can go about that, both like through like conventional financing and all like the type of loan options that are available to you. But even once you acquire the property, there's different type of strategies that you can use to maximize the income that you get. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the interesting part.
Mm-hmm. I just got off a call with a gentleman who he's buying medical massage chairs from me, but he owns a couple of Airbnbs. He was telling me he may get a lesser expensive one to put in some of his Airbnbs because of the wear and tear. But as you mentioned, that there are a variety of strategies that you can deploy in order to cash flow those properties. Can you tell us about some of them that you have learned of, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's the normal long-term r- rentals. That's kind of what most people do.
Mm-hmm.
But for myself, now I've gotten into midterm property management, right? So essentially, I'm renting my property out to a family that essentially like needs a house. So like the lady that we have, her house was kind of like impacted by a fire. Like she had a fire
Mm-hmm.
in her home, and she came across our property. There's a company that she's working with who does insurance claims.
Mm-hmm.
So she's working with them. They reached out to me asking if our property was available. I said yes. They sent her to see our property probably within like a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we have her, she's been in there for a year. And
Mm-hmm.
because it's an insurance claim, insurance claims are going to pay you more than what a normal rental is going to pay you, just because they're trying to make sure the guest is going to
Mm-hmm.
be okay, and they want to make sure they're in a house that's close to the house that has been impacted by a fire or a
Mm-hmm.
flood or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, there's only so many things that they're going to uh allow to impact the home. So that they want to make sure the home is a certain standards, a certain quality that's not too far off from where they were at prior to that fire. So
Mm-hmm.
because it's insurance, they're gonna more than likely they're gonna end up paying you more.
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
as long
Interesting.
as it makes sense, that they can be a good source of income for you just because in theory you're renting your property out to someone for a couple months up to a year or more,
Mm-hmm.
but you already know they more than likely won't be a squatter because
Mm-hmm.
that we have, she has a house to go back to, and
Mm-hmm.
she's only at our place to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen her, I think she lost her keys one time, and then we went into the house or whatever to see if we could find her for her, but we couldn't find the keys. But while I was in there, that was the first time I'd been in there since we had gotten her as a renter.
Mm.
And I'm looking
Interesting.
around just to see what's in there. It looks exactly how we left it. Exactly.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
furniture is on the same place. The kitchen looks nice. The only thing she was doing a puzzle in the back on a
Mm-hmm.
table. That was the only thing I could see that was like, okay, so it's just like she has a puzzle here. Of course, she has like her bedroom stuff, her clothes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, that was the only thing I could pinpoint. Like, wow, this is where she spends her time because
Mm-hmm.
that's there. So aside from that, everything's
Well,
been.
let me ask you this. Have you ever talked to my son-in-law, Yafet Davis?
Yeah, I've talked to him. I For some reason the last time I talked to him, it didn't like click like what he was doing with like his real estate. So I knew he had it, of course, and was like getting out of it. But with the experience he has, it definitely like would serve me well to get some time with him and kind of like,
Well, I'm quite sure that he would have a conversation with you because
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
find him to be very fascinating and very
yeah,
innovative in terms of him being in the industry. He has retired from that
yeah.
business from that business model, but he hadn't retired. He out here doing something. But the thought is he's been doing this most of his life. He's
Hmm.
gone through several scenarios. So as I mentioned, vicarious knowledge is a valuable thing. So if
Hmm.
you have relationships like that, not to take advantage of, but to be able to provide value, and this is what I found that if you could do something for somebody, they're more than willing to reciprocate. So I'm going to give you an example.
Hmm.
There was a young lady who was aspiring to sell a product. She built these online frameworks and she had like online stores. She had different kind of products in certain niches.
Hmm.
She didn't have the reach or exposure or network of people to really market her product. So she's trying to figure a strategy for marketing her product. There was a person that she watched, which was an influencer online, and she would watch him. This person, this female, religiously, because she had millions of followers. And she was always talking about the topic related to this lady's product. So one day, the influencer announced that she was going to be taking some time off because she was pregnant. She was going to have a baby.
Hmm.
She was just letting the audience know, I might not be on the forefront all the time, but I got stuff to do. This woman, who was just a follower of this influencer, reached out to the influencer and said, you know what, I really appreciate that. Tell you what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna wash your dishes for I'm gonna take care of your dishes for the next year. Right. So the influencer was taken back by it, but what she did was she sent her paper plates and plasticware, a year's supply of paper plates and plasticware. And it was a kind of funny thing, but it created a relationship and a rapport with his influencer, gave her audience and said, okay, what can I do for you? She said, well, I got a product. And if you'll put this in front of your audience, I'll give you 50% commission or whatever the commission structure was. She exposed the product to the audience, and the rest is history. This woman just blew up just because she was nice to this lady, reached out to do something good for her. So anytime you have somebody with a well of knowledge, such as Yafet Davis, who I'm still trying to get on this family meat thing, I give it up. Yeah, tap into that wisdom, man, because that could definitely be beneficial for you in the long run. Let me ask you this: what do you see yourself going in the future? What's your mm, projection for your growth and your expansion?
I mean, growth and expansion is just looking at like how can we acquire either personally more doors to rent out, or how can we partner with other people who have doors but don't
Mm,
know about renting to these type of insurance claims.
wow, interesting. It's an interesting strategy. How do you plan to deploy that strategy?
I mean, right now we are actively connecting with whoever we can. Like, so I'm reaching out to realtors in the area and people on Craigslist who have their place up for rent, people on Facebook Marketplace who have the place for rent, just to ask them, hey, like, we can get your property rented to somebody.
Mm,
I'm just going to take a little sliver of what this rental income is
mm-hmm,
and pay myself. Outside of
mm-hmm,
that, once they're signed and booked with you and they have a lease with you, they're going to be tenants that you manage the same way you would do any other one.
mm-hmm,
I'm just going to be able to market, and because they're trying to get a renter on apartments.com or Craigslist or Facebook, I already know what they want to rent that property for. They're
mm-hmm,
not knowing that I'm going to take that property, send it to the insurance claim, attach like a premium of maybe like 20% on there,
mm-hmm,
maybe less than that, but it depends on like how the property is. But that premium I attach is going to allow me to take my fee out of that while at the same time allowing them to get everything that they need for it paid for.
mm-hmm. Interesting. That's brilliant, man. You a creative genius, Jarell.
I don't know about genius.
Yeah. Well, let me elaborate on that. The word genius means having the ability to generate. It comes from the etymology of the word genesis.
Hmm.
And anytime you can create an original idea, even if it is just a spin on a previous idea, you've created something original. You are genius. Never let nobody tell you different. Next thing I want to ask you is this. The reason why I started having these conversations, and I really want to thank you for coming on with me and having this discussion, is
Oh
because
yeah,
I
of
want
course.
more of my family to know more about each other and also to know beyond the scope of just our immediate family as well, to get some input and information from other people that have value to contribute. What do you do as a family as far as tell us a little bit about your family and what you guys do in order to support each other, encourage one another, and help each other succeed?
Yeah, I mean, the family, like at least for me personally, I go to them really just for a bunch of advice. I always kind of like to see how I can leverage all the experience and knowledge that they have and
Mm-hmm,
apply it to what I'm doing. Just because they've all been through so much, they've all done so much in their lives, especially the ones that are older than me, my mom, my nieces, my grandma, my dad. All of them have done things in their life that have gotten them to this point.
mm-hmm,
And through that, they've learned things, they've
mm-hmm,
seen things, they've had things happen to them where they can be like, hey, when you do this, think about this. And that might be
mm-hmm,
something I've never thought of before. So
mm-hmm.
things like that are essentially like how I'm really just taking things from them because they've all
Mm-hmm.
done so much and they have so much experience doing things. if I would have done all this without asking them anything or not like monitoring what they've done just to like pick up certain things, then I would be wasting all of that.
Mm,
So
mm.
really just trying to build on what they've done so they can look at me right now and be like, you know what? He turned out all right, cool.
Well, one of the things I know for sure is that it is a smart decision to actually tap into the reservoir of knowledge in your relationships, whether it be your immediate family, your extended family, or just people in the context of the network. So you're doing that on every front. You're doing it with your networks, you're
Hmm.
doing it with your family. One of the things that I have decided to do this communication for is because I want people to, generations unborn, to start understanding, okay, this is where my people came from. This is what my uncle was like, my nephew, my cousin, to know their lineage and to see the evolution. Because as you start now having these conversations, as you matriculate in what you're doing, you'll have that much more experience, but also they'll have that record of information to say, you know what, this is how he got started. He pushed himself out of his comfort zone. He figured out a way to get into the mix and actually start gaining some momentum. So that's powerful. So if you could share something that you consider to be of tremendous value to generations yet to come, what would be one of the most important things that you would share?
I mean, what would I share for generations next to come? I mean, really just understand. I mean, a lot of it's like kind of like based off what I just said, right? There's so
Mm-hmm,
many people that are in your world that you have access to that you can really just ask questions and just asking the questions and kind of like monitoring what they've been doing, that'll allow you to like answer the questions that you had personally because
mm-hmm,
they've all done certain things that they've told you, certain things they haven't told you, but just not asking the question
mm-hmm,
doesn't help you at all. Like the worst they can do is tell you no or tell you that's not a good idea. But at the same time,
mm-hmm,
that might be an opinion that they have, or that could be rooted in something that they've seen from somebody else or
mm-hmm,
their own personal experience. So that's kind of what I would kind of like look at and like use the internet to help you get the information that you want to find. Because
mm-hmm,
so many, like, I'm sure when you were a kid, because the amount of information that was out there on certain things wasn't even close to what we have now. And then,
mm. We didn't have internet when we were a
yeah,
kid.
exactly. So, like, if I had to look in a book for something right now, like,
Yeah.
that would kill me. Like, that would be a problem. I'd have to be like, where do I even start? Like, how do I find the right book? Like, how do I know who wrote this book? It's like things like that. You're just like, man, now I could just search whatever I need to search. And depending on what I search, it'll point me to somebody who can tell me what it is that I need to know.
Mm. Let me ask you a question, Jarell. Do you know what an encyclopedia is?
Yes, I do know. I haven't used one of those in quite a while, but I do know.
We man. That's
Uh,
amazing. Well, I want to say something though, to you, for real. I find you an interesting young man, but I didn't know the depth of your seriousness about your pursuits and the audacity that you've had to apply to start making progress, sir. So I take my hat off to the things that you're doing because you're serious about this. And if as long as you're determined, it's happening for you. There's no doubt about it. All you have to do is purpose and focus like you're doing, and you create it. You bring it to pass. I see it. I see it in your present. I see it in your future. With that said, I'm gonna ask you this final question. Because you are often a part of the family. Matter of fact, I think you're an officer in our family meeting. Because you are part of the family. If you had something specific that you could share our family that you think would be of greatest value to that network of our nuclear family, what would that be?
I mean, just like reach out for any questions or if you want to like pick my brain on certain things, like definitely like feel free to like ask because uh that's the best phrase probably in the world is like closed mouths don't get fed. So that's probably the best phrase right
Closed mouths don't get fed. I'm writing that down, man.
there.
So
It's a good phrase though. It definitely
yeah,
makes sense.
it's a great phrase. What I've been doing is going through these conversations. It seems that there's some jewel of truth that comes out of everybody's mind that they share, and that one I think is one of the epitome jewels for this conversation. Closed mouth don't get fed. I
I'm
love it.
telling you, it rings true every time you hear it, no matter what context you hear it in. It's like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. See, I should have said something, or he should have said something, or she should have said something. It's just always true. It's never like you can't say it's a lie. So
Right, right.
it's always true.
So how can people get in touch with you? Where can we find you? Where can we reach out to you? Because you said if you open up your access to the members of your family, you say, well, reach out to them. How do they find you?
I mean, everyone can hit me up on Instagram. I mean, I'm not on there much to post personally, but I'm on there just like monitoring what's happening and playing
Mm-hmm.
stuff on my feed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Instagram is good. LinkedIn is good. I'm always on there just to see professionally kind of like who's doing what and kind of like now I'm doing it to find those type of companies for insurance because
Mm-hmm.
they all kind of function the same way. So I need to get connected with people in those companies to help me continue to serve them and like the landlords I work with.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll always be a source of connection just because they're gonna have to be the ones sending me, hey, we have this family who needs this type of house. Can you
Mm-hmm.
see what you can find? Like things like
Mm-hmm.
that will be
Okay.
uh regular.
Okay. All right. Well, with that said, I want to thank you again for joining us here on this family meet. Is there any closing or parting words that you would like to share as we close out today's session?
No closing or parting words. I think I that I haven't put in here already.
Yeah.
Just the closed mouths don't get fed. Just like have that, like just sit with that for a minute if you're kind
Let
of
that marinate.
yeah, just let it marinate. Because I'm telling you, it's not it's not it's never not true. Like it's never not true. At least
Yeah.
from my experience, I'm just like yeah, you should have said something or he should have said something. Trying to think what else would be worth sharing. I don't know. I think I got it all, but
You simply dropped a bomb or two.
yeah, maybe I don't know about a bomb or two. It's kind of just like some gems, just like a couple gems that I've acquired along the way.
All right. Thank you so much, my friend, my nephew, my brother, Jarell McGrew. Let's sign it off for this week's family meet. All right, sir.